If you were an Oregon Duck fan,
Yeah.
who would you be rooting for this weekend?
Tennessee.
Tennessee matchup.
Look,
Do you agree with Steve that you want no part of Ohio State again?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State is one of the more untrustworthy teams in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually have a lot of faith they're going to win this weekend, but I will say, if you made me pick, I actually do think they end up running away with this game.
You think if you were going to gamble
I-
on the game, you would take Ohio State to pull away?
No disrespect to whoever the hell was on our radio station in this time slot yesterday. Playing in Ohio State cold is not the same as playing in your old cold or Missouri cold. I think that's going to hit them like a ton of bricks. I also don't trust Nico very much at all. So if you told me it's tight for most and then Ohio State pulls away and wins by 10 or more, I'm not going to sit on my couch. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I also think Oregon can beat Ohio State a second time.
Yeah.
They didn't play a particularly clean game. I think in some ways they've gotten better. Now, they have had their moments where they've been a little lackluster offensively, but you're going to be in warmer weather. You're going to have a lot of your fan base at that game. I mean, how many Duck fans have already booked their package to go to the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, they'll have a crowd advantage because the other team won't know until Saturday night.
And I'm sure Ohio State fan, they are really good at this. They book their trips ahead, and if they need to cancel, they cancel. But I wouldn't be scared to play Ohio State. I just rather play Tennessee because I tend to think in certain spots they're not as talented as Ohio State. And quarterback's kind of one of those. Not that I think Will Howard's the world. I just, Nico had a good year. They took a big step as a program. I just don't know if I go into that game saying I trust him fully to beat Ohio State in Columbus.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like the weather conversation is kind of similar to what I heard and what a lot of Ohio State fans were saying going into the game at Oregon when they were talking about stadium size. And there was a lot of like, hey, we play in big stadiums. They're like, come on, we're used to this. We play at Penn State. We play at Michigan. And then the crowd ended up having a huge impact on the game and false starts all over the place. It's like, I feel like that's the same thing Tennessee's kind of doing. And a lot of it's just online chatter from their fan base of like, we'll be fine. We can handle. It's one thing to say you can handle the cold. It's another when you run out on the field and you're standing there, it's at 22 degrees and the wind's blowing through the stadium and there's a wind chill. It's one thing to say you're prepared for it. It's another thing to actually go in and handle it. I think this game, to your point on Ohio State pulling away, there's not a doubt in my mind that Ohio State's the better team. There's not a doubt in my mind that I would rather play Tennessee than Ohio State in the next round. I like Oregon's chances against either of them because of all the things you pointed out with Ohio State and their issues on the offensive line. I think this game singularly comes down to two things. What kind of offense does Chip Kelly call? Does he pull his head out of his ass from what he did against Michigan? Because that was an embarrassing offensive performance. And then secondarily, what is the mindset of that team? Is there we're going to get off the mat and fight back, and that Michigan game is not going to be what you remember us for? We're at home, and we're going to give you all we got. Kirk Herbstreit floated the day the bracket was released. He thought it'd be better for them to go on the road because the second they have if they go 3-and-out on their opening drive of the game, they are going to get booed off the field.
They might,
That's the way that fan base is right now. So that to me is the only question. Ohio State, despite their injuries on the offensive line, is the more talented football team. I'm just curious to find out where their buy-in and effort and all that other intangible stuff is going into this game.
See, I'm not so much worried about that part. What I would be worried about, one, is Michigan just gave you a blueprint that you don't even have to be good to beat this team.
They threw it for like 27 yards in that game.
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback was atrocious, but they made the right plays defensively. Tennessee's defense is good. And so Tennessee can look at that film and say, this is how we do it. And it might be ugly. I don't know how good these playoff games are going to be. I'm excited that we get them. We get them at home venues. That's cool. And I'm going to be on my couch watching all of them. But I don't know how good these games are going to be. This might be a rock fight. This might be 16-13 because it's going to be 20 degrees at kickoff.
Yes.
And both defenses are really good. I think what I'd be concerned about isn't buy-in from players, because I think you can be in that locker room, lose that game, be pissed off, not understand what's happening, but go, we get another shot at this. Our season doesn't have to stop now because we lost to Michigan. We got a home playoff game looming. I'm actually concerned about the coaching. Like, it's not players. If they lose this game, I don't think it's, well, the players didn't buy in. I think it's going to be, hey, Chip Kelly doesn't seem like he's very good anymore.
Stop running the football between the tackles when you can't run the football between the tackles.
I mean, the play calling in that game was, I'm scratching my head. This is supposed to be one of the smarter guys in the sport, and he doesn't know what to do.
He's got the best wide receiver room in the country.
What's the face of Ryan Day if he's losing 10-3 at halftime?
Yeah.
It's going to be like, oh, my God, we're going to do this again.
This is happening again.
I'm worried about that the tape on the Michigan game is there for Tennessee's defense, and that the minute this game gets tight, the players are going to look to coaches, and those coaches are probably going to have a stench of, we're in over our heads. We're being booed. We don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's going to be
what I'd be worried about.
Fascinating to see how that one plays out.